Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Tom. I thought that was a really good one.
It's kind of abbreviated, I thought.
It's post-holiday, not where I was primed and just, getting focused. It's another one of those awkward weeks. It's a short week and there's a lot to do and we've got things going on and,
Yeah, I was thinking about that this morning. It was like harder to get up today for the show than it has been in a long time. So I was like, I wonder why. Yeah, and I think today you're right. This week is an odd week. People are all over the place. Many people are back to work. Others are like not even contemplating work because they've got another week or so off. And
kids are at home.
Right.
College kids are at home, as you know. School kids are home.
Right.
And then in the Baltimore area where you and I live, there was possibility of weather this morning.
Yes. I forgot about that. I didn't even
a wintry mix, which if you're not from the Baltimore area, you don't understand that just the possibility of winter weather is enough to send the whole region into chaos.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I'm sure people were frantic about that this morning. Whether it materialized or not, I don't really know.
I looked right before we started. There was nothing. Where I'm living, there wasn't even a drop of rain.
That's pretty, I think, typical for, the sky is falling. Yeah, no, it's not.
Yes.
So anyhow, that allows us to move forward. And I am not in quarantine. This is just, I have one more day of my son being home and he's in my office. So this is great.
I picture him sleeping on your office desk.
Yeah, no, not quite like that.
Not quite like that.
Yes. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Antidote, our daily broadcast and podcast where we have a conversation around a topic. And this week's topic is ready, set, which is more interesting to say than it is to share. So we're going to have a conversation around that. We'll tell you today a little bit about what it is, and then we'll dive deeper into it throughout the week. And then at the end of the show, we will share our one thing, our today's antidote. And we hope that if you have thoughts you'd like to share along the way, please feel free to put them in the comments. Or at the end of the show, you can offer your one thing about what it means to you or what you're thinking about in general, because we know that'll add value to someone else. So if you are watching this on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live, you can comment. Oh, actually, also on Spotify, because now you
can watch us on Spotify.
If you're just listening to the podcast and you're not really sure where to comment, just go to the Ring of Renegades. It's our Facebook group where we are gathering other renegades, over 1,100 of them, where we are helping people take their own unique pathway to success. So those are plenty of options for you to engage in the show. We would love to have you be a part of it. And with that, let's dive into what we do as the first part of every show. Hopefully Bob has his day ready. What are we celebrating today, Bob?
Well, wait, don't we get to celebrate what each of us is celebrating?
Yes, I was asking, what are you celebrating today?
No, you said, what are we celebrating? Which is usually how you lead into the national thing.
Apologies. What are you celebrating today?
I'm celebrating the fact that you and I do this program with far less preparation than people would imagine, and somehow it works.
Does that kind of go against our topic?
Well, no, I guess, yeah.
Maybe not. I mean, I guess there's, without having dived into the topic, it's kind of hard to determine whether or not it goes against it. So I guess that was maybe a quick question.
That's it.
It was too early in the show to be brought up.
That's it. We'll come back to that. So what are you celebrating?
You add to that or no? Is that good?
No.
You just wanted to share that?
I'm good.
I've got lots to celebrate today. Just lots of It was a great weekend with my family. Someone had posted on LinkedIn something about really being present this weekend, and suggested that just put your cell phone away, put your computer away for a while. And so I literally did the best I could. That when people were already in bed or not up yet, that was a little bit different. I pulled out my phone a little bit just to see what was going on in the world. And outside of that, I really tried to avoid it. And it did a pretty good job. Like, people wanted to play games, I played games, left my phone away. People wanted to go do some things, I did that. So that was one of the things I was celebrating, even to the point of I chose not to try to watch the Buffalo Bills football game yesterday. As you know, that's a passion of mine. And they had a big game that they won. So I'm celebrating the win as well. And celebrating the fact that my daughter got me 2 tickets to the last game of the year at home. So I will be heading up to Buffalo in 2 weeks to watch their home finale. So
who's that against?
The Jets, the Jets, Jets.
Okay.
So lots, and it was a great weekend. It was really fun to be around the family, and even though it was just us, it wasn't like a big extended. In some ways, I think that made it even more enjoyable. So lots to celebrate.
How far is Buffalo from where you grew up?
It's probably 65, 70 miles, but it would take 2 hours.
Because of weather, snow, and
back roads. Just
back road. Okay.
There's no one way to get there.
Because you're going to the west to get to Buffalo from where you grew up.
Going north.
North. Okay.
So if you think about New York, the challenge is
I usually don't.
I know. Upstate New York, which people usually think about downstate, or Manhattan, or Long Island. On upstate New York, there are 2 main roads that run east-west. There's the thruway, Route 90, and then there's what used to be 17, which is now, I don't even know, 99 or something like that. And 2 roads that go north-south, kind of in central and western New York. 90 is way, way west. So we were kind of in between those 2 roads that go north-south.
Okay.
So it's little 2-way roads for 70 or 80 miles, going through every little town in western New York. So
okay. Well, that sounds like a lovely experience. And what a great gift for you.
Absolutely. It'll be awesome.
Who are you taking with you?
I'm taking my wife with me.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
Well, I wasn't sure either whether I was supposed to take my daughter, who got them for me.
Well, that was where I was wondering.
Yeah. Yes. She's not really much of a football fan, so.
Well, that's a really great gift. Truly.
It was one of many.
It shows how much your daughter pays attention and how much, she cares.
It was good. It was
It
was all in all. And we played this game last night, Monopoly, Cheaters Monopoly. The new game my daughter found, the same daughter. And so we played it last night and I won. So I was the best cheater. I'm not sure what that
How
says.
does Cheaters Monopoly differ from regular Monopoly in
there are
50 words or less?
There are opportunities for you to cheat, like steal money from the bank, steal a hotel off somebody's property when they're not
the
paying.
Cards give you that.
The cards allow you throughout the game to attempt to cheat.
Okay.
And you have certain ones that you can do, and then once they're done, they're off, and then you can't do that anymore. Like, once somebody takes $300 for going around go, that comes off the board, and something else goes on. So you kind of have to pay attention to what are the opportunities to cheat, and then what are people doing when they're trying to cheat. So
wow.
It was fun, actually. It was interesting.
All right. Well, Tom, you will be happy to know that.
What's the nation celebrating?
It's National Fruitcake Day.
Fruitcake Day?
Yes. Do you like fruitcake? I bet you don't, because you don't like fruit around anything.
Not on a dessert. Fruit and cake, that doesn't go together. So yeah, that's not probably one of my preferred things. Do you?
Wait,
Does anybody really eat fruitcake?
There are a couple of people.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that there's one per state because they have it at every grocery store and every, But I think of them more as doorstops or paperweights.
Were you watching Hallmark movies? Because they were talking about.
She was. That's where I heard. It was that movie you talked about a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
The
Or
one where she wrote the letters.
yes. And
I was watching that a little bit last night, I think, or the night before, because I saw it come up and I was like, oh, Tom mentioned this. And so I watched some of it.
I
Yes.
had never heard of fruitcake as a doorstop. I never really knew what people did with fruitcake.
Most of them just hold it for a couple days and throw it in the trash.
So is that why? So now that it's 2 days past Christmas, that there's no longer any use for fruitcake, and so you throw it out?
I didn't go into all the specifics.
Got
I
it.
found a day and I moved on.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Probably a good idea.
Sometimes I just don't give it the effort I could.
That's okay. That's all right. That's, I think as we talked about the other day, we are having this discussion. Shh, don't let the National Celebration Day or whatever it's called know this, but Bob and I are considering having our own Renegade Day. So we would go out to all of our members of the Ring of Renegades and others to say, what day would you like to create? And so we could say, today we're celebrating the Renegade Day of something else. So if you think that's a good idea, please let us know in the comments, because we were tossing that idea around the other day and thought maybe we could come up with a different list. I'm not going to necessarily say better or not, because that would be a judgment. And, I don't like to do that. So I would just say a different list.
I was much more reluctant about it until I heard you just describe it. And then it made perfect sense.
Really?
I like the idea of the Renegade Day of.
Okay.
I really, yeah. When we came up with it initially, I was really like, that's a crazy idea. But
you didn't buy into it, did you?
It was one of those ideas like maybe I should have not. Yeah.
You sold that you were bought into it. Not, I didn't assume that. Oh yeah, he didn't really think that was a good idea. So good job.
Well, I didn't buy a domain yet, and that's the sign that I bought in.
Yes. Yeah, I thought that was a done deal, given how you are with domains. That once you come up with it, you're like, it's only $3 or $4. Let me go buy it.
Yeah, a little distracted. Sorry. There was this holiday in there, and
it's all good. All right. So now we probably ought to get to our topic for all those people who are wondering what the heck is Ready Set. Do you want to kick us off with this discussion, Bob?
Sure. So we, as human beings, I think we are sometimes reluctant to change and sometimes eager to change. And one of the times that I think we often find change possible, at least to think through, is at the new year, because it's new. And how many people have you heard say, oh, this new year, I'm going to get up at 6 a.m. every morning. I'm going to exercise every day. I'm going to do this. So I think we have the opportunity in business to talk about, what are we ready to do? What are we set to do? What are we willing to do in this new year differently? May not be better, but differently, to affect what we want in the world, to have the influence we want. So, it could be as simple as a merchant saying, I keep getting people who come in at 5 o'clock to my business. I might stay up until 6 o'clock. It could be, I usually return calls the next day. What if I return them the same day? It could be, I'm going to shorten my emails, but really thinking about, what are we ready and willing, really is the word I think about, willing to consider for the new year. Not saying you have to do it, but to have the thought process. And I do this each year. I write on a sheet of paper all the things I'm willing to do differently in the next year. And then I pick a couple and I actually try to live to them. And they're personal things, they're professional things. They're some deal with relationships. Like one I had 2 years ago was around reaching out to my nieces and nephews consistently.
Mm-hmm.
And that was important to me. And so for that year, I tried to reach out to at least one niece or nephew every day. And so it was a chance for me. It was something I was thinking about. I don't get to talk to them as much as I'd like. How can I interact with them? I want to be present in their lives. And that led to that. Same thing in business. 1 year I was going to get my invoices out more quickly. And I did that. So it can be any number of things. It can even be attitudinal. I'm going to try to listen more. I'm going to try not to be the smartest guy in the room. I'm going to try to empower my team. I'm going to, what did I say to you the other day, Tom? It would be great this next year for us to start this program at 8:00 in the morning, at 8 every day.
Right.
But doesn't mean we have to do it. Doesn't mean we're not going to fall. But we can set that and say, these are the things that I'm willing to, at least this week, consider. Did I make any sense in all that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think it's part of the process, right? Is that we have to, it's funny when you first said that, I was thinking about a race where you get ready for a race. Okay. And you're like ready, set.
Right.
And then it's the go part of it. And really that would, we might force you out a little bit, will be next week when we talk about what does it mean to go. And I think that preparing for it is a big part of any endeavor, no matter what it is, whether it's for the holidays, whether even for, as you talked about, reaching out to your nieces and nephews, is you can say that's what you want to do, but are you really prepared for it? Because I can imagine saying something like that. The hard part is, which one am I going to reach out to today? Which one haven't I reached out to in a while? Which, so if you don't then go in and set up a process, or you get even better prepared, which might really be set, it's going to be harder and harder to do. And that actually choosing to move forward with it might be the hardest part, because you're not really prepared in a way you might be prepared to do it for a day or a week or whatever, but are you prepared to do it for the long haul?
Or simple things. Like
Sure.
With one of my nieces, I didn't have an updated phone number and I was going to text everyone. So I had to get that updated number. And you say, well, it's no big deal, but I didn't know that.
And it would have been a big deal the first time it came up, and you'd be like, oh man. And then maybe you wouldn't be able to do it. Now every idea is lost. And now you're trying to figure out, well, okay, is it really worth it, or should I just stop?
Right.
Is that enough? So I think it's that whole process of being prepared, and it's interesting. We talked about that in our workshop last week with our Renegade Success Network members. I was about how are they getting prepared to do it, and not just, talking about this is what I wish or even what I want to do, but it's actually now what will I do? And I think that was a really helpful way to take those first two steps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be ready and really be set for what's going to happen. And I think that if that's something that you're struggling with right now for the year, I'm going to do a little plug. You can still join us for our workshop, From I Wish to Success, the Renegade Way, which is going to be going on at noon Eastern time today. Or you can participate in January 4th. If you're not yet engaged or involved yet, or it's Monday and you're like trying to get figured out, January 4th at 7 p.m. And then we'll find another time next week as well to do another one in the day. You can participate in this workshop so that you can take the steps necessary to be ready and set, so that when January 1st comes, you can go ahead with what you're doing and have a much better likelihood of it sustaining what you're trying to accomplish.
And Tom, I had some feedback over the weekend from someone who said, I guess this workshop's really just for people who are struggling. And I immediately said, no, this is for anyone. This is not about whether you're meeting all your goals. This is about figuring out what it is you are going to do next year that will change things for you in the way that you want to. And we saw it with Tom. Even though Tom was leading the workshop last week, he got some clarity around writing his book, something he's been talking about and struggling with for what, now 6 months?
Sure. Oh, at least.
And I thought you walked away from that with some clarity. I came away with some clarity around how I could find some people to work for one of my clients better. And it wasn't hard. It wasn't painful. It was organic. And it could be something in your personal life, your business life. It could be a relationship. It could be whatever you want to work on and really have significant change.
And I think that, what I would share in response to that, someone saying, well, it's just for people who are struggling, is I would say that if even if you are killing it, doing great, and you're not considering, you either don't have wishes that you would like to see come through, or you aren't considering change, there's a really good chance you're going to get left behind. And so I think we all are constantly thinking about, like, okay, what can I do differently? Or even if it's going well, as I wish that I could do this, with less hours spent on it, with less money invested to get to that return. Whatever the case might be, that there are still things we wish for. Even people who I imagine the Bill Gates and Elon Musk still have things they wish for. And so that again might be personal, might be professional, but it's a way to really take those thoughts and ideas out of your head and put them into action.
I
So we
like
hope
that.
we will see you there at noon Eastern.
Yes, and it'll be about 60 to 75 minutes. It's a bring a pen and paper or pencil and paper or have your whiteboard ready. It's not going to be talking at you. It's going to be very interactive and very thought-provoking is the way I would describe it. So this is not going to be, here's a 12-step process and you have to do this every Tuesday at 9 a.m. That's not how we roll. But it is a process that when you get to the end of it, you can replicate it and use it over and over and over.
Absolutely. So, Bob, what's your one thing today? Are you ready for that?
I am, I think. I think there's a need to recognize that change is always around us. And you said it a minute ago really well. If you're not willing to consider change, you could get left behind. What I would say my one thing for today is, how willing are you to consider change? Even hard change, even change that you didn't think 6 months ago or 6 years ago was even on the plate. Because I think once you start to think about what change you're willing to make, it opens your eyes to what you're serious about, what you're not serious about.
I like that. And I think that I would even take that maybe a little bit step further is, the first part of this, the first word in this, are you ready for that? And sometimes ready is acknowledging that this is what you're trying to do. And it's also, what are some of the first things you need to consider? I think about it, the image that comes into my head is watching like a sprinter in a race get, because for them, when they hear the call ready, it's like they're preparing their body for what's coming. And so I think it's the same with us in business.
And their mind.
Correct. Body and mind. Right. No doubt. And they're making sure that it is, because the next step for them is getting down in the blocks. And that is, the final time that they can get everything in place before they move forward. And so I think it's, where are we in that process with our business or our personal life, whichever we are trying to look at as change, and truly getting us mentally and physically prepared for that launch that we are about to take with, again, whatever it is, no matter whether we see it as significant or not as significant, it is going to have an impact on what's real for us every day.
I like that. I wasn't sure where we'd go today, and I think we got to a really good place.
I would agree. I think it was something a little bit different, but I think that it's, the concept and the imagery of it to me was really powerful when we were first discussing it. Again, like I said, I wasn't really 100% sure. And then I was like, you know what? This is truly part of the preparation, and I think we see it so often in athletes. And I think that the processes that athletes go through is very similar. I mean, it's different, but the concepts are similar to what we go through in our professional or personal lives. You don't just say, I'm going to find a new job and have it happen. You have to think about, okay, what am I going to need? What is the type of job that I want? What are the skill sets that I have? How do I get prepared to put together a resume that's going to be like, okay, once I have that all together and all those thoughts and ideas down, now I'm set to move forward. So I think it's a very beneficial analogy to consider, especially at this time of year, as many people are probably in the process of, okay, what is the new year going to look like? And what am I going to do different from the past? So if you have thoughts or ideas about what ready, set means for you, please feel free to share them in the comments as we shared before, or we hope you will come to the Ring of Renegades Facebook group and share them there. It's easy to do if you're not yet a member. Just search for Ring of Renegades in Facebook and ask to join. Tell us why you're a renegade, and you can be a part of our growing community where we are helping others work together to take their next step along their own unique pathway to success. So we hope that we will see you inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. We hope we'll see you today at noon, or we'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time.
Actually, Tom, can we do 7 o'clock tomorrow morning?
Sure.
Thank you. I forgot to ask you about that.
You could have asked me afterwards, but that's all right.
No, I didn't. Well, you said 8 a.m. I didn't want someone to be thrown.
Got it. So we'll see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. bright and early. I got to remember that. For our next
Why
edition.
didn't we do an evening show?
We could always record it. Although I know that's not the same.
It's not.
All right, everyone. Go out and make it a great day.
Hey, and embrace the renegade in you. And do something with that fruitcake someone gave you. Anything. Ugh.
Yeah, that is quite the gift to pass along. I'm not sure what that means when somebody gives you a fruitcake. Like, what?
Means they're regifting, probably.
Yeah, that's maybe even more interesting is someone gives you it and you regift a gifted fruitcake.
Ooh.
Probably why they get used as doorstops, I would imagine.
That's it.
All right, everyone. Have a great day. We'll see you soon. Thanks for listening to today's Antidote, powered by the Renegade Success Network. The Renegade Success Network helps you confidently create your own unique pathway to success. To learn more about the Renegade Success Network and how you can take your next step, follow us on Twitter, connect on LinkedIn, or join the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. For full details on how you can join our community, go to renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Embrace the renegade in you.